Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and don't know when this will be uploaded, but I was listening to the guys at Deadpit and give a good shout out to them. Well, hopefully it's good. Uh, they did two shows. One talking about the 10 worst horror film remakes they've seen. The other being the 10 best horror film remakes they've seen. So I wanted to do my own list, and I'm not sure if I've already put up my 10 worst ones first and then the best, or vice versa, but just in case. Uh, let's get to it. These is what I think are technically it's 11, but it's 10. It's a top 10, but it's technically there's 11 movies, and you'll know what I mean when I get to it. So these are, in my opinion, my 10 favorite horror film remakes. Of course, I'm a guy who blasts remakes a lot because a lot of them are bad, or just not needed. The RoboCop remake, I'll say again, it's not needed. Now, if people like the viral marketing campaign that they have, where instead of Ed 209, it's called ED 209, or if they like, oh, it's not RoboCop anymore, it's the RC 2000. I'm like, RC? Like fucking Transformers RC? No, RC as in RoboCop 2000? It's the same motherfucking Jetson, man. So what? But anyway, what do I think? What are my 10 favorite horror remakes? Let's start with number 10. This is a film that, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the original film. I don't own it, so maybe I have to give it another shot. But this remake surprised me, especially with who stars in it. Maybe it's part of the reason it takes place in Iowa. Maybe that's part of it too. But number 10 is The Crazies. Yes, I really like The Crazies. I saw The Crazies, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't that bad. I really enjoyed it. I thought the actors did their jobs well. Timothy Oliphant, I thought, didn't suck in this movie. Thought he played his role fine. Rhoda Mitchell, I like Rhoda Mitchell. The rest of the cast did a nice job. Brett Eisner, I thought, handled the film well. It's definitely R-rated. It's a film that had a good pace to it. Didn't have too many slow spots. Uh, Granted, the last shot, didn't really care for the last shot because it almost like opened the door for a sequel, or oh, what will happen next sort of thing, and I didn't really like that. But the rest of the movie I thought was well done. Has creepy moments like this scene here where this guy's taking his pitchfork. All these people are tied down to the table. He's just stabbing people left and right, and way down you have one of our leads tied trying to get out. As this guy's just systematically stabbing people with a fucking pitchfork. But yeah, the Crazies I was surprised by. The Crazies I had no hope for, but obviously it's not original. But I thought it's definitely Brett Eisner's best film. I will say I liked it. It had more energy, pretty much the same idea, but more energy than George Romero's film. I mean, George Romero is a great director, but The Crazies are just not one of them. Again, maybe I have to somehow get it on DVD sometime, give it a chance, or if it was sent to me. Yeah. But seriously, I haven't seen it in a while, but I do, even if I did see it, I think I would prefer this one. So this is number 10, The Crazies. I actually didn't mind it. Now, number 9, it's found like a lot of crap, and I still to this day do not understand why. But number 9, it is Friday the 13th. And one quick note, this killer cut is bullshit. It has like 2, 3 inky dinky scenes, and that's it. Scenes that you didn't need. They don't hurt the movie, but it doesn't fucking do anything. And this is a shitty DVD because I don't understand how fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 can get, what, a 3-disc? Might as well call them 3-disc set. But this film, what does this get? Like 10 or so minute rebirth of Jason Voorhees and additional slash scenes. That's it. Even the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I don't have that one unless someone sent it to me for free. But I guarantee you, that has more shit than this movie. That film doesn't deserve it. This film, I don't understand people's problem with the film. I really don't. I mean, you have your right to your opinion, but this film, it's Jason in the woods fucking people up. That's the movie. It's Jason, well played by Derek Mears, I thought. Jason looks good, well played by Derek Mears. You got tits. You got. I am a fan of the Friday 13 films. To be honest, I can watch all of them, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Friday 13 Part 8. But like, really, any of them I can watch. And if I had to pick one I like the least, it'd be Friday 13 Part 8. Because it just has so many problems. But it's like one of those, if I put it on, if I'm typing something, I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay, oh, cool, Jason. Like, it doesn't piss me off, but it is a bad movie, but it doesn't make me mad, you know? It's weird. That's like one of the only franchises that I didn't watch any of them. Because maybe because it's such a simple formula, but we've seen that fuck up too. I will say, I wish Friday 13 Part 8, on a side note, it should and could be done better. I want to see Jason in a fucking city, fucking people up, like take Maniac Cop 2 and multiply it to 11. I want to see that movie. Now, when I saw Friday 13 Part 8, I didn't quit no. I knew that was already not the case. I knew what I was getting in for, so I couldn't be disappointed because I already knew that they fucked up. But I'm like, okay, it's bad, but... But this film, it's not that bad of a movie. I saw this at the movie theater, had a fun time with it. The opening scene, when they sort of try to redo the first film very quickly, I thought it was half-assed and pretty shitty. But the rest of the film is just Jason in a mask killing people. And I did not mind Jared Padalecki from the TV show Supernatural. I thought he did fine. The rest of the cast were there. You had kills. You had tits. You had Jason in the woods fucking people up. I don't understand the hatred for this movie. I can understand for the other ones. Which, if I did the worst one, you probably heard about. But what are some complaints people have? Jason being smart. Okay, I have to disagree with that. It's not like Jason in this movie was Albert Einstein. It's not like he was fucking John McClane, Isaac Newton type of smarts. Like, what was the smartest thing he did, really? He made traps. Hate to break it to people. He made traps in the previous films. Remember in Part 2? Actually, I don't know. I might be mistaken. Was it? What the hell? Not even all of them. He puts bodies in specific places. Friday 13 Part 4, Crispin Glover, he put his ass dead in front of the door so a person could not get through. That doesn't take brain power? That means the guy is thinking. In Friday 13 Part 2, yeah, that's what I'll mention that. The beginning, he puts his mom's head in the fucking fridge without her noticing. Obviously, that takes some brain power to figure out how the fuck you do that. I mean, the guy definitely knows how to use his tools. The guy, in previous films, Part 3, he was obviously horny. He wanted to fuck the girl very much. Well, I'm getting into it, but... Well, he's trying to get into it. But, the scene where he takes off his mask, pretty much. He didn't do it with the tongue, but like, oh, here I am, I recognize you. That's not brain power? I mean, so he made traps. I can understand if he made traps like Jigsaw. I can understand being like, well, what the fuck? But these were like traps that anybody would do. Why is it that hillbillies in Deliverance or mutants in like the Hills of Eyes and stuff, we can buy that, but we don't think of them as smart people? And they do traps all the time in those movies. So you can't tell me the traps thing bugs you. I'm sorry. If the trap things bug you, then you have to disregard all those hillbilly movies like Deliverance, Southern Comfort, where they're supposed to show that there's so much dumb, but they have a little bit of brain power. Or all those mutant movies where they live out in the woods and they kill people. They made traps. Wrong Turn, Hills of Eyes remake, or even the original. And they weren't supposed to be, quote, the smartest tool in the shed, or the sharpest tool in the shed that would work. They weren't the smartest brain on the fucking block. So you can't tell me that. I mean, again, if the traps were like high-tech Saw type shit, I can understand. But here, not the case. They're very simple. So, I'm sorry, the traps thing, I don't get it. The smart thing, how else was he so smart? If he talked, okay. If he fucking cried, or if he talked to white horses, or if he looked like a bum, or if he fucking, we saw him as a little kid wearing the fucking hockey mask, or if he cut kids' clothes with a fucking glove, but doesn't kill kids, so you're like, why the fuck would he have the glove in the first place? Or it's like, no, I didn't do it, before he got burned. Like, if he did any of that, I can understand, but here, it's just Jason being Jason. He uses a few old school traps that any mountaineer, fucking Grizzly Adams, inbred cousin, he'd be able to do the same thing. Because he's lived there for 10, 20 years. If he's a little boy and he's lived there for 10, 20 years, he's going to know how to do shit. He's going to have to. Otherwise, he's dead. How the hell else would he hunt for food? You get what I mean? Like from Friday 30 Part 1 to Part 2, how did he survive? Become big and strong. I doubt it was, fucking waiting for fucking picnic baskets and to steal them away. Fucking Yogi Bear Crystal Lake. So you can't give me that. And you can't give me the... So, Jason's not that smart. He's not fucking Albert Einstein in the movie. So the whole smart thing, I'm sorry, I don't buy. You have your right to your opinion, but I don't buy it. I just don't understand it. You can educate me. The other thing is, they didn't like the underground layer. Okay. But they want to do something a little bit different. It's not like Jason never had a lair in the other films. Remember Part 2? The place where he had his mom's head right in the middle of the fucking table? That was kind of a lair. So it took place underground. Made sense. I mean, okay, it's a little something they added different so it wasn't the exact same movie. And it didn't bother me. I don't know. It wasn't... If it was like, what the fuck? There's an amusement park under here? First I'd say, wow, you're fucking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I can understand if you go underneath, it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with, all that shit. I can understand that. And I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I love that part. That works for that movie, but it was not a word for this. But it just didn't bother me. It didn't bug me. I don't really understand why it bugged people. And it went back to basics, which is what people wanted. Now, I love Jason Goes to Hell. It's my favorite because it was the first one I ever saw. I love the lead guy. I really love Jason Goes to Hell because they tried to do something new. A lot of people hated it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it had good energy to it. Great gore. It's definitely probably the goriest of the Friday 13 films. And I just really enjoyed for Jason Goes to Hell. But I don't understand the hatred for this. I really don't. It went back to basics, which a lot of people wanted. Has the kills, has the nudity. It didn't do anything to Jason himself. They didn't make him cry or fucking, whine like a bitch or talk or see fucking white horses, fucking see Trigger or some shit, wondering where the fuck Roy Rogers is at, or he didn't fucking have weapons that made no fucking sense, or tell people to go back to their secret cave, or give people fucking amnesia out of their ass. It's just Jason killing people and saying fuck it. And I enjoyed it. It's the only Friday the 13th film I got to see in a theater. And you know what? This should have gotten a sequel. Not Rob Zombie's H2. Why the fuck is there not a sequel to this? It's not that fucking expensive. There's a lack of horror films out today. Why do you make the fucking sequel? You can make it for $5 million. $10 million. Hell, make it for $10 million. You did it double back on the opening weekend. I guarantee you, making that Friday 13th film, make you $10 million. You did at least a $20 million opening weekend. I guarantee you. You can put it in the snow, in wintertime, you can do whatever the hell you want. $10 million, not that fucking much. Doesn't cost that much to make a Friday 13th film, for fuck's sake. But that's number 9. Number 8 is House of Wax. Hot, sexy, deliciously creepy horror. House of Wax, I know these were on the CK and Uncle Bill's list. I agree with them. House of Wax, I really enjoyed. Surprised me. Granted, I have not seen the original with Vincent Price, but what I did like about this film was I thought the acting was fine. Elijah Cuthbert. I forget that was Elijah Cuthbert in this movie. I haven't seen this in a while. Chad Michael Murray, Brian Van Holt, Paris Hilton. You get to see Paris Hilton get killed. Wow, Jared Padalecki's in this too. Well, that's weird. He stars in this film. I forgot that he's actually in this film. He's not the star, but he's in this film as well. I forgot about that. Wow. John Colette Serra. Why does his name sound familiar? I'm gonna look that up real quick. But House of Wax, I really liked because it's a really fun slasher movie. You know, if you like slasher movies, I don't really understand why you would not like this film. Again, when I say that, I don't condemn people if they didn't like it. It's just I don't know why people would not like it. I did think it was well directed. I thought it had a good atmosphere to the film. Oh, that's why. This is the guy who would direct Orphan. I saw that once. I remember liking it. It definitely has a weird twist ending to it. Oh, he did Unknown with Liam Neeson, which I wasn't the biggest. The same guy who directed this did Unknown? He should have taken some of this and put it in Unknown. That would have been cool. But anyway. Supposedly he's going to direct the new Akira film? Live action? Well, hopefully it's more House of Wax and not Unknown. But I just wasn't the biggest fan of Unknown. Maybe I gotta see it again, give it another shot. But what I like about this is that I really like the town that they have where the House of Wax is at. I like the idea, which I'm sure, I know it's been done before, but I still like the idea of, you know, they walk in, they see all these wax figures and how some of them is actually, you know, people underneath that they put in wax. It's definitely gory. Thought the kills were really, really well done. Thought the casts were fine enough. They didn't bother me or anything. Hey, you want to see Paris Hilton get killed? You can see it in this movie. Another thing I really liked was it was well filmed. I mean, the director, I didn't realize it's the same guy who did Orphan. He can be talented. You know, he kind of knew what he was doing. For instance, the scene at the end where they're inside the building and it's all burning down, and the way it's all melting because it's made of wax, and how the leads are escaping from this house, wax is melting along this fire. It's hard to describe without showing anything, but it's really interesting sequence how that's done. It's like I haven't seen that before. I'm not saying it hasn't been done before. I'm saying I haven't seen it before, where they're escaping this literal house of wax, everything melting, and they have to get the hell out of there. And for what I remember, they did not leave it open for a sequel. I may be wrong. I haven't seen this in a while. I actually want to watch this again. Maybe do a proper review of it sometime. But definitely has a lot of features. B-roll and bloopers, video cast commentary, film location, Joel Silver reveals House of Wax, the design of House of Wax, the house built on wax, visual effects, dad review, trailer. This deserved to do more at the box office. This is entertaining. It's gory. It's not tame. Decent cast. Interesting kills. I like the idea behind the film. I like the idea. Anyway, just see the film, you probably know what I mean. But I really like that movie. Definitely why it's number 8 on my. Uh, Number 7 would probably be the 1993 version of the Body Snatchers. Yes. My favorite version of the Body Snatchers. Yes, I know. Blasphemy, because most people would pick the 70s version. But the 90s one, I always thought was underrated. This 90s one that takes place on a military base. I think it's really helped by the director, Abel Ferrara, the same guy who directed Bad Lieutenant. I'm not sure how many straight out horror films he's done, but this one just had a good atmosphere to it. So much so my fucking body just went, ugh. If you heard that, my body got scared from thinking about this movie. Ugh. So shit, don't talk about it. But I'm going to talk about it because you have, who's the actress again? I haven't seen this in forever either. Uh, Shit. Meg Tilly. She delivers this line of dialogue. It's like, where you don't go, where you don't run, where you don't hide, nowhere, because there's no one like you left. The way she did that, I'm like, oh shit, really was creepy, well done. Just one of those things you just stuck in your head. I thought put it on the military base really fit well. Because it's definitely a dangerous place to be. It definitely made sense. I mean, why wouldn't they want to take over a military base and have the weaponry and firepower and such? I mean, even though their first instinct is to take you over, but they can fuck you up too. And one guy said it best about how in military you're supposed to be in uniform and everybody's supposed to be sort of the same unit, not show emotion. So it kind of works in that aspect. Has some good twists that you don't see coming. I really liked. I thought Forrest Whitaker did fine. Dermot Mulroney, yeah, he's in this film. I always forget Dermot Mulroney from Young Guns. Dirty Steve from Young Guns. He's in this film. I like Gabrielle Anwar. She did fine. I like the effects of the when. I thought the effects were really well done when someone's asleep and the other shell is propping up. And you have like those tentacles and all that shit. That was really cool. Uh, Underrated film. No one, I don't see anyone talking about the 1993 Body Snatchers. I think that's why it's pretty up there because I thought it was creepy. I can watch it be a little bit creeped out. Body Snatchers, I thought was well done. It's a little bit of a slow pace, but this one I didn't mind it. I thought it was sort of methodical. I gotta put a lot of credit to Abel Ferrara, very competent director, very interesting director. But that's definitely why it's number 7. And again, this is number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7, and number 6, which I know people will laugh at because it's not really a horror film, but it is a remake of a horror film. So, is The Mummy. Watch this again. This is the Ultimate Edition 2-disc set. And it's a fun movie. Entertaining film. I do like the second one. The third one, I watch it again. I could watch it. But I really like the first one. It's definitely my favorite of the 3. It's a fun movie. It's entertaining. I thought Brendan Fraser did a good job. The rest of the cast, it was funny at times. Yeah, the CGI effects, some of them look a little bit. Some of them I'm fine with. I mean, once in a while you have some that look dated from 1999, but sometimes I like watching these adventure films like Indiana Jones or like Firewalker or Teen Solomon's Mines, Alan Corman, The Lost City of Gold. So, I like these, not all the time, like I didn't like Sahara, but I did like National Treasure 1 and 2, and I hear they might be doing a part 3. But yeah, The Mummy, I thought this is the right way to go with a remake because it made the Mummy be able to do more. Again, Brendan Fraser was likable as the lead. Rachel Weisz, John Hannah, Oded Fair, Kevin J. O'Connor. Nice score by Jerry Goldsmith. He did the score to this. Has a good sense of humor to it, so it doesn't take itself extremely seriously. They're having fun with it, and that's what I like. It's not deadly serious. It's, hey, let's have fun, let's have a ball, and it's a ball to watch. It has a good sense of humor. It makes you feel good. And it's a fun, entertaining movie. It's a fun adventure film. I will say The Mummy. So that's definitely why it's number 6. Number 5 is a film that I think is pretty underrated. House on Haunted Hill. If people think this is bad, be my guest, but watch The Haunting. That came out the same year as this. That's a bad one. Now, granted, this isn't perfect. I'll give you the ending with the fucking CGI black evil thing coming out. Not my cup of tea, but doesn't kill the movie for me. First and foremost, I appreciate that it was rated R. It's rated by William Malone, who also made the film Creature from back in the day, which I don't mind. I actually like. And I know, like, what's funny, I read an interview when he was directing this. He listened to a lot of music from Jacob's Ladder. You see some images of Jacob's Ladder, like when people like shaking or doing that sort of thing. I just thought it handled itself well. I will be honest, I like this much better than the original. The original House on Haunted Hill, I couldn't get into, just me. But this one, I got into, even though, granted, I like the idea. I just thought it was accomplished better in this flick. But I like the idea of a group of people having to stay in this haunted house, supposedly, for one night, and then they win a shitload of money if they do. Only crazy shit's happening. I really like Jeffrey Rush and Famke Johnson. I thought they play off each other back and forth, very entertaining way. Uh, I like the cast. I don't mind Taye Diggs or Ali Larter. I thought they did fine in the leads. The black guy lives. I know I just spoiled it, but holy shit, the black guy lives. Wow, I really didn't see that coming the first time. I thought Chris Kattan was actually really funny. I mean, usually his humor doesn't appeal to me, but I thought Chris Kattan was actually pretty funny. He was kind of, sometimes he's saying the stuff that you yourself would say. Again, it is rated R, so you got some gore in there as well. Some of the look of the ghosts, they're really well done. You have Jeffrey Combs in the film in a big role as a guy who was a doctor from back in the day, who he's the one of the spirits haunting. And that's another thing I like. As opposed to the Haunting remake, the house, or I should say it was I think insane asylum. They picked a good place to set it in. That's the thing about a haunted house movie. You gotta pick a good place to set it in. And I think one of the problems with The Haunting is that it looked too elegant and looked too nice that you were never scared of it. Here, though, you were scared of this place that they were in, or creeped out. Like if you were in this place, you're like, okay, I could be creeped out on this. And uh, they do use some practical effects as well, which I appreciate. One thing I never understood at the end, one of the deleted scenes is there's actually were zombies in this film where Ali Lara is jumping, she falls through, and these zombies start attacking her, and Tay Diggs has to help save her. I don't know why they cut that part out, you know, but other than the CGI black cloud mist thing at the end, either way, I really enjoyed this film. I think it's pretty underrated entertaining flick. Definitely why it's number 5. Of course, number 4 has got to be The Fly. I mean, obviously it was in this case, but I just wanted to show the white one better. The Fly. Definitely number 4. 20th Century Fuckface actually did something right by giving this a nice DVD, beautiful DVD, 2 disc. Even the sequel got a good DVD. Commentary, documentary is just filled to the brim with stuff, and it deserves it. Because I would say this is my favorite David Cronenberg film. Granted, it's probably it's definitely his biggest hit. Some would say it's more a mainstream film, most mainstream. But I thought Jeff Goldblum played it well. Gina Davis played it well. You bought their love story. It's a tragic love story that I think really works wonderfully solid. Works very well. The effects are great. His transformation from Seth to this fly, the gradual fingernails coming off, really really feel sorry for the character. Great score by, was it Howard Shore? Definitely R-rated. I mean, the arm wrestling scene, or the vomit scene, and they definitely go for it in that instance, which you don't really see. Well, in this way at least. It's a remake that definitely worked because the original Fly, that was another one I saw. I wasn't a fan of. I didn't care for the acting. It's just okay. Here's a guy's head on a fly's body and a fly's head on a guy's body. And this just appealed to me more. Maybe because the love story you buy into more, or I bought into more. The slow, gradual made it more painful, made it more tragic. The effects definitely top notch. Even to this day, you know, over 20 years later, 86, 96, 2006, what, 25 years later, and the effects still hold up. Just wonderful movie. Really wonderful flick. I agree with this review here. True Cronenberg masterpiece. Definitely deserves to be number 4. Number 3 is Dawn of the Dead. I know a lot of people like me were surprised by this film, but Zack Snyder, he did a good job with it. I gotta give him credit for that. Basically, what Zack Snyder did was he took the original Dawn of the Dead and he made his own movie. Because other than the mall and zombies, that's the movie. I mean, that's pretty much all the similarities. The characters are different. The names of the characters are different. The situations are different. It's much more of an action movie, which I appreciate. It's definitely much more of an action film, uh, which I thought worked very well. The effects were good. The characters, I thought Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames was an awesome in it. Jay Weber, very likable. I always remember when, before this film came out, they had the opening on the Sci-Fi Channel. Something like they showed like the first 5-10 minutes on the Sci-Fi Channel before the film would come out. And I saw this, I went, I know, try and be healthy. I saw it, I went, holy shit. This is a really capable director. Because the guy would go out and do 300, Watchmen and such. He's doing the new Superman, the Man of Steel. But man, the kid attacking them, zombie busting his head through the door. When she walks out and you see the whole, like, not quite 360, but get in the car and the camera on the back of the car, and she's going through the neighborhood. You see that the neighborhood's a fucking wreck. And then you have that wide shot from way up above, and you see the person driving, and you see like a car. It's like on this screen, like if you're watching, it's like here, and it goes and it flips over, and as the car's going by, that car's flipping over and crashing into a gas station and blows up, and the whole time the camera's going in, I'm like, wow, this guy like really took it and ran with it. It was definitely a solid action movie. A lot of zombies get fucked up. Um, Thought the acting was fine. The only two problems I had with the film is the zombie baby was interesting idea, but some poor like the CGI baby looked kind of shitty. Also, I hated the ending to this film. After the end credits, where they get to the island, all the zombies are there, and everybody dies. They die. Don't believe me? Listen to the song. The song says, "Everybody died. Everybody died." I know some people say, "Oh, just turn it off." It still happened. You just say the same thing with Alien 3. Just turn it off before the movie starts. But, granted, you don't see them die, but the boat was out of gas, and the boat was fucked up, and shitload of zombies. About 99% they're dead. So that sucked. Although, I know one time, Zack Snyder was talking about how they wanted to do a sequel. I thought they said the names Ving Rhames and Sarah Polley. If that was the case, I'd love to see that. Maybe it would have been them on the island trying to escape the island. Maybe they escape the island, they go somewhere else. Maybe they escape the island, and when they get the fuck off, it'd be like the reverse of the original Day of the Dead. They start at an army base, and then they go. How cool would that be? Well, at least to me. They start at an army base, and they go off to the island. What if this is the opposite? They start on an island, and by the end, they get to the army base. And they have a big old battle in the army base, and they hole up there. See what happens next. But yeah, what do I know? Maybe Ving Rhames and Sarah Polley will make babies. I don't know. But other than that, which, granted, because I don't actually see them, maybe it didn't piss me off as much, but still, it's like, I don't like that. But I know people are mad, like, well, zombies, they don't run. I'm like, really? Have you seen a zombie? Did you ask them? Did you give them a fucking questionnaire as to whether they can run or walk? Hate to break to you, zombies don't exist. So next time I see a zombie, I'm not asking them, hey sir, can you walk or run? Next time I see a zombie, when they exist, then I'll ask them if they can run or walk. Well, I'll probably find out. I'll walk up to him, and then if he walks after me, then fine. If he runs after me, kills my ass, I'll be like, hey, well, at least I'm right. I didn't understand that anger. But the zombies run! I'm like, yeah. And they don't exist. Just to hate to burst your bubble. See, dead people, they also don't come back to life and come after you. That's another thing. You think people will be more like, well, wait a minute, dead people don't come back to life and try to kill you. Instead, they pick on, but they're running. I'm like, but they're dead. I don't see many dead people coming back to life, But yet you're stuck on them running. You know, I don't mean to make fun of people who felt that way. You guys can, but I just didn't really understand that argument. But the zombies ran, and I'm like, they're not real. Ask the zombie when you finally meet one. Maybe they'll tell you differently. Maybe they'll give you a reason why they can run. Maybe they took some fucking PCP and they're fucking crazy. Rabid zombies. They took some fucking coke to go. They're like fucking Scarface now. They're hooked on PCP. These zombies. That's why they run. Surprised they didn't make that movie yet. PCP zombies. Come on, I would see that actually. If I saw a movie called PCP Zombies, I'm like, what the fuck's this? Zombies on PCP. Holy shit, now they're pissed. But I don't understand why else people would hate this movie. It's fast paced, tons of action, but it doesn't have the themes of Dawn of the Dead. Let me ask you something. Would they have been able to do that better in this movie? What they did in Dawn of the Dead, dealing with the materialism, dealing with how we change as a culture, how we base our materials over anything else. Do you think they would have done this better than in the original Dawn of the Dead? A lot of you people would probably say no. Okay, then don't go that route. Because if you try to do that, you don't fall on your face and be like, you know what, I hate to break to you, George Romero did it better. Did Dawn of the Dead? The original Dawn of the Dead is my favorite zombie film of all time. But this is a fun zombie action movie. And I thought that was the right way to go. Because, like, okay, we can't do what George Romero did. Because he did the best. So, let's make it our own and just make a fun kick-ass zombie movie. Lots of action. I'm fine with that. Now, number 2 would be the Hills of Ice remake. I know. A lot of people did not like this film, but I did. It stars a guy who used to look like me when I had a beard and more hair. Um, but I know a lot of people will say, well, Matt, this is just the original film, except the third act. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But A, the stuff that they copied, they did it better. And B, the third act was more intense and more satisfying. So I thought Alexander Aja, to be honest, I thought he did better than Wes Craven. I like Wes Craven. Now on Elm Street, Shocker, People on the Stairs, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Scream. I'm not a fan of the original Hills of Ice. I am not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of a bunch of hippies that were settled out there from Woodstock. They got kicked out of there, so they decided to live in the fucking desert. They're waiting for someone. A bunch of boring ass motherfuckers come out, and then they get knocked off, and it just didn't affect me. It didn't do anything for me. And then you have an ending that just sort of stops. You go, okay, that's it, and whatever. That's it. The only noteworthy thing about the original is Michael Berryman. I like Michael Berryman, but that doesn't make me love the movie just because I like Michael Berryman. This film, though, I thought it was better directed. I'm sorry, in this film, I think it was better directed than the original. I'm sorry, I think it was better directed than the original. I thought the score was much more memorable, especially Tillman Dandy, who did the score, especially in the action scenes. It's almost like a horror version of Hans Zimmer. You know, like you hear Broken Arrow and Con Air. This is like a horror film version in those scenes. That gives that adrenaline rush, the satisfying adrenaline rush when your hero takes revenge. And that's what I mean. It's well directed. I like the look of this film. I love the sound of this film, the music. This is an intense movie. I got Alexander Aja. He took what he did in High Tension. He brought it to this film. The gore is of holy shitness. Yeah, it's brutal, but it was intense. But what makes this film work is I like the actors. I like Aaron Stanford as the lead. Really, he really appealed to me in this film. Really likable guy. Maybe because at the time I looked like him, so I was like, oh, he kind of looks like me. You know, do you have my beard? I like that. He kind of looks like me. And when they took his baby and he get into the third act, that is what won me over. I saw this at the movie theater, and when I got to that ending, that third act, I went, fucking A. I love this. When he is kicking the shit out of him, he had that brutal ass fight with that big motherfucker, kicking the shit out of him, throwing him here, there. The scene where he's trapped in that little fridge with body parts, he's trying to get out, and you have that wide shot with the bat kind of going off. Really good looking shots. He gets the fuck out. He gets the shit kicked out of. You think he's crying and he's gonna die, but it's a fake out, and he fucking gets the thing, slams it in, beats the shit out of him, slams the ass right into his fucking head, and you have that music blaring that I really love. And I'm like, okay, he's Billy Badass. He wants his baby back. You pissed him off. And then here's another motherfucker, a crippled guy, beats the shit out of him with an axe, turns it, shoves it right into the fucker's eye, fights the assholes, giving him the chain shit, gets knocked the fuck out. But then he looks at his finger that the asshole 2 times before cut his finger off. That was like an ooh moment. He looks back, he sees his like wedding ring that's barely hanging off as the woman he loved gave it to him. He's like, fuck this. Beats the shit out of a guy, shoots the shit out of him. I'm like, fucking A. Satisfying. Gives you like, ah, ew. You know, that reaction, that visceral reaction, that's rare for me to get in a movie. And this movie brought it. To these guys, you wanted to hate these bad guys, it was intense. They took the original, I think they put it up a couple notches in the intensity factor. Add to that, it's a good looking film. It had a little bit more, obviously had more budget, so it's much better looking film. The effects by Canby I thought were good. I'm sorry. Especially the makeup effects of the blood and the gore I thought were well done. Even some of the little CGI moments I didn't mind. The score was much better than the original. The acting was much better than the original. They didn't look like just fucking people from Woodstock who got left behind or something, or they left Woodstock, said fuck it, we're gonna live in the desert. A bunch of hippies live in the desert. And mainly that third act, where the father gets his baby back, and I'm like, wow, holy shit. Usually this is a woman doing this, but a guy's actually doing it. Holy shit, that's fucking rare. And I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was well directed. I loved Hills of Eyes remake. I do think it's better. I hate the original. I'm sorry, I'll be flat. I hate the original. I hate it. It's fucking boring and boring and boring. I almost fell asleep watching it. I'm sorry, I do not like the original. This I think is much better, much more faster paced, much more intense, much more brutal, much more violent, much more likable cast, better score, and definitely a much more fantastic third act. Now, I know you noticed I said that was number 2, so just again, since it's going to be an hour, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now, number 1, the weird thing is, as I was doing this, I had to make it a tie. Because I remember I did my 69 favorite horror films, which was back in 2010, I realized. And since those 2 years, This one film that was number 3 has gone up to join this other film that I put as number 1. So yes, I had to make it a tie. I know it's not fair. I don't give a fuck. It's my list. So my tie for number 1 is without a doubt these two movies. When I think about horror film remakes, these are what I think about and how they to do them successfully and extremely well. Both were flops that came out. They did not deserve it by talented people. John Carpenter. And here you have Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell doing the screenplay. As well as Chuck Russell directed it. Same guy who did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Eraser, The Mask. Some fun movies. Great cast. Great special effects. They took the original and they made it their own. They didn't directly copy every fucking scene for scene. One is very creepy, suspenseful. One is very fun, fast-paced, entertaining. And one more can I say about these. I am going to do a full-on review for this movie. Because I gotta say, these are my 2 favorite horror films of all time. Yes, The Blob has... Jacob's Ladder was number 2, but this got up there. I mean, I share these as number 1. I really do. Because I can rewatch these films again and again and again. And most people will give me John Carpenter's The Thing, and it deserves it. I put it as number 1 as my favorite horror film of all time. Still on there because I don't have any problems with this film. I don't. The cast works well. The atmosphere works well. The special effects by Rob Bottin. Even though, when I was working at a video store, you know what some guy comes up and tells me? Oh, the Thing prequel, man, that was so much better than the original, because the original's effects look cheesy. I want to... He has his opinion. I know. But this little teeny part of me was like, take your head off and shove it up your ass. But, you know, he has his right to his opinion, honestly, seriously. So that's cool. Even though I disagree. But, but seriously, I'm going to make a death threat on him like those Dark Knight Rises fans. I'm going to write a fucking death threat to him. Like those Dark Knight Rises fans who gave death threats to critics. Very few who hated it, even though they haven't seen the movie yet. You didn't like it, so fucking die. Fucking ass, dumb fucks. Now those are fanboys. But, I mean, seriously, I really love John Carpenter's The Thing, the score by Ennio Morricone, the acting. I think the best special effects out there. Insanely wonderful atmosphere and cinematography. Great score by Ennio Morricone. Wonderful cast with Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, Charlie Hallahan, Keith David. Just wonderful cast. Great build-up. Wonderful payoffs. An ending that's very mysterious but very satisfying. Just insanely creepy, suspenseful, whodunit story. Thick atmosphere that John Carpenter can give you, especially back in 1982. It's sad that this hurt his career because John Carpenter was going to direct Firestarter. Right after this, he's going to direct Firestarter, based on Stephen King. But because this film didn't do well, because E.T. came out around the same time, and they said, fuck the thing, we want to see E.T., they fired John Carpenter. John Carpenter got fired out of Firestarter. He got fired. Isn't that a bunch of bullshit? Now, weirdly enough, think about it. Do people talk about Firestarter nowadays? No. Do people talk about John Carpenter's Thing? Fuck yeah. People talk about John Carpenter's thing to this day. Not many people talk about Firestarter. Maybe they would if they let John Carpenter direct the son of a bitch, huh? Because I'm not a big fan of Firestarter. I'm really not. Has some good fireball effects. What they do, okay. And as for the other film, I know there's gonna be people. Of course, yeah. Thanks to my good friend who sent this. Thank you, man. Now this, I know people are gonna scream foul by, oh, you put this on the same level as this, you're a fucking dipshit. It's my list. I think why also is because this film is so underrated. Not many people talk about this film. Other than, friends of mine, like my friend Effrey and Mike and such. Michael Keane, I know he saw this recently. He put in his top 10 underrated movies, along with I Come Peace and Predator 2. So he must have liked this film, if he put in his top 10 most underrated. This film, I have no problems with this film either. I know someone was going to say, well, but they changed the bit where it didn't come from space. It came from a government. I don't really see what difference that makes. It still came from the sky. I mean, what difference does it make that if it's an alien? Like, it's still a blob doing blob things. So what does it matter if it came from a government, as Kevin Dillon would say, a government says that fucked up? What difference does that really make? And plus, it was their own touch, so it wasn't a carbon copy of the original, which I didn't want. It made it their own. And thus, what I liked putting that in there, it made sense because it was the 80s. We didn't trust the government. Well, we still don't trust the government, but we definitely didn't trust the government in the 80s. And they didn't just throw it in there and do nothing with it. You got to throw that in there, and then you got military types that want to fuck over the civilians. Like the great bike chase scene with Kevin Dillon being chased at, and you have a fun action sequence. Or them trying to fuck with Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith in the sewers. So you got a human enemy element to that too. They got to deal with. Which I thought, gave a little bit more stuff to do. Thus, Kevin Dillon got to do that fucking bazooka. It's like, you have to listen to me, listen to this. And that great scene with the machine guns, like, I'll tell you how, it's an experiment that fucked up. And then that great kill with that stupid motherfucker gets sucked into the manhole, and you see the blob going. And then you get the firepower. That's why you got the machine guns, because then they're going to have a... First off, you can't just call the military and think the military is going to be, oh yeah, there's a blob, okay, we'll do it, we'll get there, A-OK. So, getting the military there in that quick fashion, well, I don't know how the hell you would have worked that in. You got the firepower, so you have people trying to shoot with flamethrowers, it get fucked up by the blob, the blob's killing people left and right. Shawnee Smith just have Ellen Ripley moment. Come on, you do better than that. I love this fucking movie. I don't understand why no one likes this movie. Well, not no one, but I don't understand why this film's so fucking underrated. It just, when you love a film that you don't understand why it's gotten shit on. You know what's on this DVD? Widescreen. Trailer. That's it. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Seriously. 2 disc. Even The Fly 2. 2 disc. The Fiend, I have my DVD that has more features. This even has features. But thankfully I got the DVD, so I have all the features. This has nothing. They're not doing anything with it. So, another fuck you to the studio, Sony or whatever, Columbia, TriStar, Sony. I try to do fan commentary with my friends because you don't go do fucking shit with it. What happens? Oh, you block it. Even though we're not making money off it, We want to talk about how we love this film to death, but you block the shit. You fucking assholes. Because you're not doing anything with that. Fucking bullshit. What is wrong with this movie? Okay, why do I love this film so much? I'm going to do a review for it. Kissing its ass up, down, and center. The cast works. Kevin Dillon, Shawnee Smith definitely work. They're very likable. They have a great chemistry together. They're fun together. Has a great setup where you think one guy's going to make it. Donovan Leitch, you think he's like the Steve McQueen role in the first one. That sort of way. But he gets killed. And oh shit, you don't expect it. And it's the rebel, the rebellious one, who becomes the hero. The movie has some balls. It kills kids. But it's not fucking too mean-spirited to take you out of the movie. It has great special effects. Either has great practical special effects. Like, how can you hate that scene there? That's great. The movie theater scene when Shawnee Smith lifts that person up and you see half their face basically. Or you have a few shots, wide shots, that you see, okay, you tell there was probably some screen, green screen, blue screen. But then that kind of reminds you of the 50s movies. How they did in the 50s. So it has that charm to it. It wasn't probably its intention, but that's what you can get and get. I don't like the original Blob. Okay, I saw it, well, many years I think because I saw this when I was a kid. That's why I love it so much. The Blob, the original, I saw it years later. And all I saw is a piece of jello moving around. I saw Steve McQueen being Steve McQueen. I saw a bunch of people acting like they were in the 50s, of course. And then the Blob moving as slow as a fucking crippled, I can't even think of a good animal. Fucking crippled bird trying to squeeze his way through a fucking mouse hole. One commits suicide. One in fucking mouse bite his fucking head off and shove it up someone's ass. Or a fucking salamander trying to get laid, but his dick is so hard it's like a fucking ton, so he's got to chug it along. Or his fucking gold players driving down the floor. Okay? Or a fucking fat person at Walmart. And I know it because I'm fat. And I go to Walmart. That's some bitches like me. But the Blob works. The store works. The cast works. The effects work. It tries to be its own film using the government angle, but it's there for a reason, so they actually use it with some fun action sequences, some funny humor, some entertaining, fast-paced, exciting, has a good sense of humor to it. And when you think Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell did the screenplay, same guys who did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, you understand why. And this film still doesn't get the respect it deserves. It still has a bare bones DVD, no fucking Blu-ray. I'm sure if they ever did a Blu-ray, it'd still be fucking bare bones. They're not doing anything to it. So why don't you just let me upload a fucking commentary that I do with my friends that's for free, that no one has to pay for, when that. And if they want the movie, they'll buy the movie so they don't listen to us talk. Because we will do it for free. I guarantee you, studio, if someone's listening to this, me and my friends would do this commentary for fucking free. We won't even curse if that's what you don't like. Fucking A. We don't even curse. Freaking A. How about that? So this movie is a fun monster movie that they don't make nowadays. They don't make monster movies nowadays. They have likable leads. They have a good sense of humor. It's exciting, adrenaline pumping, wonderful special effects, a lot of practical stuff. This Blob felt alive. It wasn't just a piece of jello. It dug you into a fucking sink. It cracked you into two. It killed fucking kids. It'll kill your dog, your pets, your fucking goldfish, your fucking inbred cousin. It'll kill everybody and their moms and their fucking sisters and their fucking poodles. It'll do anything and kick you in the ass and skull fuck you to death. This movie is a lot of fun. This film is a lot of creepy. And these are my favorite remakes, horror film remakes in general. as well as horror film remakes of all time. So either way, thanks for watching this hour-long video. Take care. We'll see you later. And if I haven't posted the top 10 worst, I will do that maybe another day since this is an hour. So you may see this and then another hour. But and on last note, yes, I did see that Punisher short Dirty Laundry. I really liked it. Thomas Jane needs to come back as the Punisher and that kind of thing. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And stay tuned for my 10 fucking remakes, horror film movies I think are pure shit. So stay tuned for that. Maybe today, maybe another day. But either way, stay tuned. If it's not uploaded before, it will be uploaded soon. Later.